Hello student, let's try to understand the transportation in human being, how the process of transportation takes place. We have seen the previous section that blood transport food, oxygen and waste material in our body. Class 9th we learned about the blood being a fluid connective tissue. Blood consists of fluid medium called the plasma in which the cells are suspended. Plasma transport food, carbon dioxide and nitrogen waste in dissolved form. Oxygen carried by the red blood cells. Many other substances like salts are also transported by the blood. We thus need to pumping organ to push the blood around the body. A network of tubes to reach all the tissues and the system is in place to ensure that this network can be repaired if damaged. So our pump the heart. Our pump the heart. The heart is a muscular organ which is as big as our first because both oxygen and carbon dioxide have to be transported by the blood. The heart has different chambers to prevent the oxygen-rich blood from the mixing with the blood containing carbon dioxide. The carbon-rich blood has to reach the lungs for the CO2 to be removed, and the oxygenated blood from the lungs has to be brought back to the heart. This oxygen rich blood is then pumped to the rest of the body. So what the point they are saying is, student, the heart is a muscular organ which is as big as our fist, because both oxygen and carbon dioxide have to be transported by the blood. The heart has 4 different chambers to prevent the oxygen rich blood from the mixing with the blood containing carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide rich blood has to reach the lungs from the carbon dioxide to be removed, and oxygenated blood from the lungs has to be brought back to the heart. This oxygen rich blood is then pumped to the rest of the body. We can follow this process step by step. Oxygen rich blood from the lungs comes to the thin wall upper chamber of the heart of the left atrium. The left atrium relaxes when it is collecting the blood. It then contracts while the next chamber, the left ventricle, relaxes so the blood is transported to it. When the muscular left ventricle contracts in its turn, the blood pumped out to the body. Deoxygenated blood comes from the body to the upper chamber on the right atrium. As it relaxes, as the right atrium contracts, the corresponding lower chamber, the right ventricle, dilates. This transfers blood to the right ventricle, which in turn pump it to the lungs for oxygenation. Since ventricle have pumped blood into the various organs, they have thicker muscular wall than the arteria do. Valve ensure that blood does not flow backward when the arteria and ventricle contract. Oxygen enters the blood in the lungs. The separation of the right side and the left side of the heart is useful to keep oxygenated and deoxygenated blood from mixing. Such separation allows highly efficient supply of oxygen to the body. This is useful in animals that have the high energy need, such as bird mammals, which constantly use energy to maintain their body temperature. In animals that do not use energy for this purpose, the body temperature depends on the temperature in the environment, such as animals like amphibians or many reptiles have 3-chamber heart and tolerate some mixing of the oxygenated and deoxygenated bloodstream. Fish, on the other hand, have only 2-chamber heart to their heart, and the blood pumped to the gills is oxygenated there and passes directly to the rest of the body. Thus, the blood goes only once through the body heart in the fish during one cycle of the passes through the body. On the other hand, it goes through the heart twice during the cycle in other vertebrates. This is known as double circulation. The tubes. Arteries are the vessels which carry blood away from the heart. Organ of the body. Since the blood energy emerges from the heart under the high pressure, the arteries have thick elastic wall. Veins collect the blood from the different organs and being it is back to the heart. They do not need thick wall because the blood is no longer under pressure. Instead, they have wall that ensure that the blood flows only in one direction. On reaching an organ or the tissue, the arteries divide into smaller and smaller vessels to bring blood in contact with all the individual cell. The smallest vessel have wall which are one cell thick and are called the capillaries. Exchange of material between the blood and surrounding cells takes place across this thin wall. The capillaries then join together to form veins that convey the blood away from the organ or tissue. Maintenance by platelets. What happens if the system of the tube develop a leak? Think about the situation when we are joint injured and start bleeding naturally. The loss of the blood from the system has to be minimized. In addition, leakage would lead to a loss of pressure, which would reduce the efficiency of the pumping system. To avoid this, the blood has platelets cells which circulate around the body and plug these leak by helping to clot the blood at these point of injury. Lymph. There are another type of fluid also involved in the transportation. This is called lymph or tissue fluid. Through the pores present in the wall of the capillaries, some amount of plasma, protein, blood cell escape into intercellular space in the tissue to form the tissue fluid or lymph. It is similar to the plasma of the blood but colorless and contain less protein. Lymph drain into the lymphatic capillaries from the intercellular space, which join to form the large lymph vessels that finally open into larger veins. Lymph carries digested and absorbed fat from intestine and drain excess fluid from the extracellular space back into the blood. So this is the circulatory. What is the blood pressure? The force that blood exerts against the wall of the vessel is called blood pressure. This pressure is much greater in arteries than vein. The pressure of the blood inside the arteries during the ventricular systole, that is contraction, is called symbolic pressure, and pressure in a arteries during the ventricular diastole relaxation is called diastolic pressure. The normal systolic pressure is about 120 mmHg and diastolic pressure is 80 mmHg. Blood pressure is measured with the instrument called sphygmomanometer. High blood pressure is also called the hypertension and caused by the contraction of the arteriole, which result in increase in resistance of blood flow. It can lead to the rupture of arteries and internal bleeding. Thank you.